Amid the ongoing Ukraine war, Russia is holding its presidential election as President Vladimir Putin looks set for yet another comeback. And if successful, Putin will begin another 6-year term, extending his tenure as the longest-serving Kremlin leader. He is largely expected to win and secure a 5th term as a leader. Amid mounting criticism from the Western nations following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, opinion polls in Russia have shown how Putin has an approval rating of 85%, higher than even before the invasion of Ukraine. The Kremlin says Putin enjoys an overwhelming support and that Russia does not want to be lectured by the West about democracy. It says the West is trying to undermine Russia by casting doubts on the legitimacy of this election. However, the European Union and NATO doesn't believe that Russia's presidential elections will be free or fair. Calling it a sham, they have emphasized that Kremlin's suppression of all opposition voices has undermined the integrity of the entire electoral process. Russia will conduct the presidential elections spanning from March 15 to 17, during which Russian citizens will cast their votes from Friday through Sunday. No legitimate opposition candidate has been permitted to appear on the ballot. Vladimir Putin is officially pitted against 3 candidates endorsed by the Kremlin, representing political parties aligned with his policies and loyal to his leadership. Putin's critics have called these elections a complete farce. His political adversaries are either imprisoned or living in exile abroad. The recent death of Kremlin's fierce critic Alexei Navalny triggered massive international outrage amid accusations of murder by the Russian authorities. His death sparked global condemnation and fiery protests across the globe. But surprisingly, none of that global uproar led to any reprisal or protest in Russia. The highly anticipated event holds significant implications not only for Russia but also for the entire global community. The elections come at a time Vladimir Putin's recent nuclear saber-rattling. Ahead of the election, Russian president was boasting about just how his country's nuclear capabilities are far superior to the West. Threatening NATO with nuclear war if they send troops to Ukraine, the Russian president said soldiers being deployed to Kiev would provoke a nuclear war and quote-unquote destruction of civilization. Now, this threat was largely meant to intimidate Western nations and deter them from fighting for Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has resorted to nuclear blackmail ever since he started one of the biggest security crises in Europe since World War II by invading Ukraine. He said he acted to protect civilians in separatist regions from Ukraine's military, though there wasn't enough evidence that they were under any kind of threat. Western nations will be observing these elections with a close eye, and what really will Putin do with yet another 6 years in power. For the first time, people across Russia and in the annexed regions of Ukraine will vote for 3 days in these presidential elections. Results will follow shortly afterwards, and the winner will be inaugurated in the month of May.